with Samsung's abandonment and starting over from scratch with the Galaxy Fold, and God knows what's going to happen with Huawei and the Mate X, all that enthusiasm about folding devices in 2019 has quickly evaporated. And really our last hope might really be waiting for Motorola to throw us their new Razr, and who knows when they're going to announce that. Well, what if I told you there's actually a mass consumer product out there, a actual folding phone that's been on the market for a couple of years now, and it's only $130 brand new. $130 for a folding phone brand new. That actually exists. That's the ZTE Axon M, and that was released a couple of years ago. $700 then. It's dropped completely down to $130 now, and it just resurfaced onto the map for basically everybody due to this price drop. And for $130, man, this is a really fun phone just to purchase, just to play with, to see what the potential future of technology is. So I'm Alex from ZTE Tech. We're going to take a look at the ZTE Axon M, and this is the bargain steal of the month. So I don't usually recommend buying a Snapdragon 821 phone in 2019. That's a old processor. It's not even last year's processor. It's not even the year before. It's years ago. It doesn't make sense to buy that brand new. But the price is $130. So that's a huge, just general buy, $130 to throw around. I think a lot of us kind of just, that's impulse territory. We're willing just to lose that money just to get our hands on something like this. And the second fact of this is that it is a folding phone. If you want to get your hands on something that might be the future in form factor of technology, well, here's your chance. It's $130. So forget the Snapdragon 821. You're buying this because it folds and it doesn't suck. It's actually a folding phone that works. So that's why I purchased it, and that's why I'm featuring it on this channel and looking back on a phone that's already a few years old. So I purchased this device with a couple use cases already brewing in my mind that I wanted to use this for. And I did watch a bunch of reviews, some from really nice tech reviewers that were very friendly with, and they reviewed it when it first came out. But I didn't really get to see video images of what I wanted to use it for, which is one, reading it like a book, like a comic book, and two, kind of like playing video games on this, like a DS. Most people just showed videos, and that's cool. But I have a certain use case scenario, and I wanted to test that out. So I have a handful of things that I want to show you about why this thing for $130 is still so fundamentally useful and unique that I do kind of like it. The first thing is comic viewing. I have kind of transitioned over from paper to digital, but I haven't really found like a perfect medium to read. I don't really like reading on tablets or my phone. The phone's too small. I don't like double tapping and zooming in all the time. So I thought this would be actually perfect to use this as a comic viewing book. It feels like that with the double screens. So I use that split mode where it's the full screen to read as a book. And lo and behold, it actually worked on this particular phone. So this is kind of tricky too. Not every single comic viewing app works. So I actually tried a couple of them, and the best one that actually worked natively with this phone was Google's actual Google Play books. That one works the best, which you actually have to purchase all of them from Google, all the ebooks. But man, when you're reading it, it's actually like you have 2 pages of paper and you can flip it. That's terrific. That is awesome. It feels like you're reading a book, and there's enough real estate where you can actually read the text bubbles without actually like double tapping to go in. This is actually terrific stuff. And when you swipe from one page to another, back and forth, it's very fluid, and it actually feels like you're turning a page. That is so cool. Yes, you can do that on a single screen, but it's not the same. There's something different about holding a form factor like a book and actually flipping the pages. That's why a lot of people like the Kindles, except since this one has that bezel right down the center dividing the screens, it actually feels more like a book than even a Kindle does. So I was really shocked to say I really, really, really like reading comics on this particular phone. Now, if you use like Comic Rack, I couldn't really configure it to do that 2-page divide using this particular setting on the ZTE Axon M. But it's not all gravy. If you're reading like an actual ebook with words, like an actual book, that bezel just splits right down the middle on Google Play Books. And I could not for the life of me figure out how to get one page on one side, one page on the other side. Same problem I had with comics racks. So, you know, it's not perfect, but it's pretty neat. I do have to say that page flipping in that form factor is a thumbs up for me. Just for that, $130, I would buy that just to use it to read books and comic books on here. And I know a lot of people do that. They buy tablets or they buy ebook readers, e-readers, just to do that. Now, the second thing I really wanted to try this out with is emulation, especially Nintendo DS emulation, because the form factor here, yes, just right off the bat, it feels like a Nintendo DS in terms of how it looks when you flip the screens up. So you would think the layout would be perfect for a DS simulator. And I have to say, it actually is kind of great for DS simulation because you have that top screen for all the action, all the stuff that's actually going on. And then you can dedicate the second screen, the bottom one, just for controls. You don't have your fingers covering up a bunch of the screen because your fingers are on the bottom. That's really nice when you have more real estate there. So I highly recommend, if you play with emulators, this phone would just be a terrific emulator machine, and it does have SD card support. We're not talking about specs, period. This is way outdated for a phone, so we don't need to go into specs. Snapdragon 821. It will handle all the emulators that you need, that you play from the Google Play Store. So cool for emulators, thumbs up for me, I really like it. Now, another fun thing I wanted to do with this was actual mobile games, like games you would download on the Google Play Store. And I wanted to see whether this like expanded play zone, that the expanded viewfinder that I would have, would actually influence any part of the game, would make it better, make it feel more immersive. And so I tried that out with a couple of games, and honestly, it doesn't really do much for me. It's just expanding the screen out. But this is a glimpse of the future. If the Galaxy Fold ever does come out, or the Mate X, or any other company makes one like that where it folds and expands it to make it look like a tablet, you have that extra real estate. And you know, we've all played games on tablets. It's great for certain things, but at the same time, I don't feel like there's a lot more benefit from playing a mobile game on like a 9-inch screen compared to like a 5.5-inch screen. So that's more of the same here. You fold them out and you expand it to the full screen. I don't feel like it has any additional benefits. Whereas like reading the comics, there is a benefit there. There is something that other phones cannot give you, which is that page flipping, that divider, actually feeling like a book feeling. That is something that the Axon M doesn't have in terms of the gaming features of playing a mobile game on an expanded screen like that. I don't really feel there's any benefits there. And then of course, you're probably looking at this for video viewing and content, media content consumption. And you know, although I was excited to use this with the expanded screen to watch movies, that bezel there backfires. You know, I love that bezel in the center to divide it for like a page on a book, but it doesn't work for videos. It kills any immersion you have when you're watching a movie, a TV show, or any type of video. The only benefit you have for this bezel right there in actually video content viewing is when you're watching a YouTube video, you can flip it into landscape mode, have the video running on the top, and on the bottom you can have the comments. So I know a lot of you guys love scrolling through comments while you're watching the video, or not even watching the video, just reading the comments. Now you can do that. You don't have to have just such a tiny little box with the comments like we would do in portrait mode on a regular phone. You can actually have it in landscape mode, watch the full size video with the comments scrolling on the bottom, so that's a positive. You can also flip the phone and actually use this A and B mode, so you can have a second display just doing whatever you want. You can have two apps running at the same time, and it's actually really fluid. Even for modern apps running on this phone, I haven't really had anything that completely locked the phone down. So the multitasking aspect of that is also pretty neat. I could see some people liking that. Now there is one display mode that I do think is beneficial for video, and that's A and A mode. So what that means is both displays are viewing the exact same thing. So what you can do is you can fold it, lean it up on a table, and have, let's say you have kids, you have two kids. One kid could be on the opposite end of the table and the other kid could be directly across from him, and they could be watching the same exact video. They don't have to fight for the screen. They don't have to be like, oh, I can't see. You know how kids get. I have a niece and nephew. I see them fight over a tablet, an iPad all the time. Now, one could just sit here and the other one could sit on the opposite side. They're watching the same video. They can't complain. You can also split it so one's on A mode and one's on B mode, and they both can be watching different videos. But I do think that A and A mirroring thing is pretty unique, and it is beneficial for, like I said, if you have kids. But there's also other use case scenarios that I think is also useful, like if you have a presentation, a PowerPoint, or some sort of presentation thing that you need to show on a desk. It's pretty cool. You could just do that, and then instead of having whoever you're presenting it to on the same side as you and scrolling like this and having them look over your shoulder, you can present it to them sitting across the table, and that is what I think is really unique about this. And I'm kind of excited. I don't know if the Samsung Galaxy Fold or even the Huawei Mate X does stuff like that. So I do think ZTE was onto something there, and I do hope more people actually realize that and want to utilize that on their phones, because I do think that is a very beneficial thing. So, this phone for $130, bargain steal of the month. I do think that right now for $130, if you are really excited about folding phones, buy this one. I was excited about this phone, but not for $700, especially with that outdated processor already when it came out. So right now for $130, no brainer. I threw the money in just to play with it. Even if I don't use it more than a month, it's worth it to me just to try it out, just to see what this folding lifestyle is. And I'm surprised to say, I can envision myself living with a folding phone, no problem. Like the transition over there isn't that drastic. So I really recommend it. For $130, it's a no-brainer. Try it out, go for it. Once again, I'm Alex with Tech. I think we're gonna try to do this every single month. I'm gonna try to look for a phone. It could be an old phone, it could be a new phone, but as long as I think it's a bargain steal for a month, like a great deal, I'm gonna make a video about it. So stay tuned for this, and I will talk to you guys very soon.
And that's it. Be sure to subscribe here, hit the bell button so you don't miss any of our videos, and check out our other videos right here. Until next time,